Welcome to the Chimney and Fireplace Success Network, a weekly broadcast sponsored by CVC Success Group, hosted each week by industry speaker, coach, author, and educator Jerry Isenhour. Our presentations are produced to assist business owners and managers in turning their business dreams into their business realities. And now, here is your host, Jerry Isenhour.
You know, one of the most important things that you have to do is get ready for your next performance. And this requires important preparation. You see, your next performance could be as a leader, it could be as a presenter, perhaps a teacher. It could be that you're a salesperson. You may be talking to your boss. You may be talking to those you lead. You may be talking to your spouse, your children, a client, or any number of situations. Just as any performer must psych themselves up before they walk in stage, so have you if you're going to do the best job of communication, because that's what communication actually is. It's a performance. So stay tuned with me as we go over how to psych yourself up and what the process is to get ready for that. Stay with us for the rest of the story.
Bringing your team to the level of expertise you expect and want from them is a job in itself. And let's be honest, in our industry, is the learning ever really over? Why not turn training over to the experts at the CVC Success Group? Subject matter experts in your industry have joined forces to create the CVC Academy, online, on-site, or live streaming. Training for your team in format options that work best for their individual needs. CVC Success Group has thought of everything to help put you and your team on the path to success.
Here at CVC Success Group, one of our team members is Aaron Marcus. And what Aaron Marcus specializes in is how to have the difficult conversation. And as we look at the conversations that we have throughout life, many times they're often going to involve difficult conversations. Because if you're going to speak honestly and you're going to speak from the heart, sometimes the conversation will be difficult. It's likely that you face this prospect of a performance every single day, multiple times in a day even. It could be in your role as an employee. It could be in your role as a manager. It could be in your role as a person you manage, with a customer, with a client. Any number of scenarios could come to play. And what you've got to do is put yourself together. You got to get your thoughts composed, and you got to learn to speak in the most professional manner, no matter who the other person is on the other side of the conversation. But you see, this is one of the things that goes on. Often we're facing this challenge, and we got a conversation coming up. We know it's going to be a performance. And as human beings, we face anxiety. Maybe we lose sleep over it. Maybe we run through our minds. How do I do this? But you see, one of the problems is anxiety is actually a form of panic. Panic causes our breathing to be altered. Some of us often endure even what we call a panic attack. Our blood pressure rises. As we said before, our breathing changes. And we also have a fear of failure so often. If you're a diver, you're trained that panic could be the worst thing you could go through. Why? Because when we panic, our breathing changes, and we use up the available air that we have in an oxygen tank. But we always got to keep in mind, and I learned this when I went through my sales certification training with Jeffrey Gitomer, when he called the sales presentation is actually a sales performance, because that's actually what every time that you speak is. It's a performance. And every performance that you go through, you got to be prepared for the performance. But see, we've also got to be able to prepare quickly for any scenario we may find ourselves in. The need for this performance could rise at any time simply by a phone call we receive, an email we read, and many times it's even a social post that we oppose the viewpoint of. And so many of us just have to hit that keyboard and we never properly prepare our thoughts because we've just got these things that we got to say it and we got to get it out. And you know, it's one of the great things about social media because you can type it all down and then you can delete it. But the problem is, once you've spoken words, it's impossible to delete those words. So you've got to properly prepare for the communication episodes, the communication scenarios that you're going to be involved in. Failure to prepare and to be prepared can turn into a situation where your opinions and words will often be challenged. You see, a part of preparation, we've got to anticipate objections. We often do this and we teach this in our sales classes, that what we've got to do is understand what the others may object to. And in the communication process, we go ahead and deal with the anticipated objections. You know, if you're experienced as a communicator, hopefully you've been trained in sound bites. If you haven't been, you need to think about it. So what is a sound bite? A sound bite is being able to say things in such a profound way that it makes people think. And in order to become an expert at presenting your opinions and sound bites, you've got to listen to what others are saying and what they're writing, not just looking at it from the aspect of replying to their comments, replying to their questions, rather of understanding what the other person is thinking. This is a skill that if you can develop, this skill is going to take your leadership abilities, your sales abilities to an entirely new level for you. You see, if you don't have the proper research, if you don't have the proper preparation, if you haven't prepared your words properly, you may just speak words that you wish you could delete later. You see, in preparation, it may require some research. If you're going to present it in a sound bite, again, that makes people stop and think. Sheryl and I have just completed a 3-day distinction summit by one of our coaches and mentors by the name of Scott McCain. And in this summit, he had several phenomenal people that made appearances. Some you may have heard of, some that you may not have heard of. And one of the presenters there was an actor by the name of Glenn Morshower. And if you don't know who Glenn is, he's an actor that's appeared in hundreds of movies and television shows. He's probably best known for playing Secret Service agent Aaron Pierce in a show by the name of 24. But Scott had him on the program. And in the program, he shared something that I had never considered before. And that is that actors are continuously searching for jobs. They're always looking for work. See, because you're not going to get an acting gig that's going to last you for a number of years. And you're probably not going to retire from that gig unless you're very elderly. And Glenn shared how he often competes for every acting opportunity and the gigs he's going to try to gain for himself. And one of the things that he has to do is he has to compete for that job. And he competes for that job with others who are really good at what they do. So what he's got to do is he has to prepare himself to walk into that audition. And he has to prepare for the words he's going to use. He's got to study the script and possibly even study the background of what he does. So he psychs himself up and walks into there. And then he shared with us the last thought that he tells himself before he walks into that audition. He's got himself psyched up. He's got it all ready to go. And then he tells himself something. And before I say this, I want to offer an apology. I hope this doesn't offend anyone. But here's what he says. He says to himself, watch this shit. Watch what I'm getting ready to do. Because what he's done, he has morphed into the character he's auditioning to play. He has morphed himself into it with the speech, the manner of speaking he uses, his words, his facial expression, the accent required, the hand motions. And you see, this is what each of us must do to psych ourselves up. We've got to thoroughly understand what it's going to take to convince others of what our point of view is. I also heard from another remarkable young lady. Her name was Sage Steele. Now, Sage Steele is a sports anchor on ESPN. That's right. She is a female sports anchor. And as we went into this, she is an extremely outgoing lady. It was really amazing to listen to her in this summit. But in this, she explained how in her younger days, she was shy, she was withdrawn, and how she's now becoming an outgoing, and I would even call it almost a bubbly persona. And then she talked how she got mad and how she wanted to be a sports anchor and the challenges of being a female sports anchor. And her process was to set up her dream and the things that she was ready to do to live her dream. And then she shared with us additional challenges that she faces today. Because Sage Steele is biracial. She has a black father and a white mother. And people challenge her all the time to select her race. But she doesn't want to select her race because both her father and her mother, one who's black and one who is white, were her influences and part of her makeup here on this earth. And she talked about how she had been challenged, by a lady by the name of Barbara Walters. We've all heard of this. Challenged on television. And what Sage had to do was maintain her composure. And you see, that's part of the sales performance. It's how do you maintain your composure? And this is part of being prepared. And you see, what you're also going to have to do, if you're going to get psyched up, you got to be prepared to step out of your comfort zone to make it happen. You know, one of the things that I suggest to so many of my clients and to others is to build your community authorities. And one of the ways to do this is to speak in a video format through live streaming broadcasts and other things through social media. But so often, if someone puts a video camera in right in front of our face, so many freeze up. This could be the case if you have an opportunity to talk to a reporter. It could be any number of scenarios. What's your weak areas? What's your strong areas? And you know, one of the things that's amazing me, because in my lifetime, I've been able to meet and discuss things with a lot of very well-known people in this world. And this is one of the amazing things that I found. Is some of the most outgoing, best speakers on the stage are basically introverts, and they don't deal well one-on-one. But put them in front of a crowd of 500 to 1,000, they can amaze you with the messages, with all the things that they can say. And this comes from their ability to psych themselves up. So here's what I want you to watch. When you watch great people getting ready to go onto a stage, if you look at a sports star getting ready to hit the field, you look at anyone we consider to be a world leader, look at their ability to command the microphone. Look at their ability of being able to speak to others. Look at how they prepare themselves. And look how the words that they choose are perfect for the situation. How do you do this? You've got to train yourself. You've got to go through and take a hard look at your own communication style. I've said this many times in classes, in presentations. If you've listened to my podcast, you've heard me say this before. But the best speakers in the world, the ones that can get the message across, number one, they've done the research to speak in a professional, knowledgeable manner. But most of all, I've noted that one of the leading skills that all of these people possess is the ability to listen to others, not to form a reply, rather to understand what the other is thinking and what the other is saying. So these are various ways for you to psych yourself up. Because as a leader, as a parent, as a manager, as an employee, as a salesperson, as a technician, no matter what your role is in life, the ability to communicate properly is one that's going to take you to the highest levels. It's going to manage to move you to where you want to go in this world. So stay tuned for just a few minutes. Stay tuned. In just a minute, Sheryl will be joining you with the words of wisdom that Sheryl brings to each and every one of these podcasts. So don't go away, because Sheryl's coming to the mic in just a second, and she's going to share her tidbits of wisdom for the week with you.
It's so hard to find people. Nobody shows up for interviews anymore. I just don't know where to find people. You hear it everywhere, and you're not alone. The CVC Success Group has the experience and expertise in assessing candidates, conducting interviews for you, onboarding, and training your new hires for a path of success in their new career. Reach out to CVC Success Group and let's talk about the challenges you're facing today.
How do you prepare yourself before a performance? You know, life can be like a theater performance. Here's how to prepare yourself so that you can be the shining best. You have to practice at life, just like you do at a theatrical performance. Many times, this is called trial and error in real life. The problem with life is that there is not always someone out there saying, let's do a retake. We have to master the changing of a mistake to a positive with first of all, take the blame and own it. And then comes the communication it takes to make it right. While no show's perfect, with persistence, you can create a very satisfying end result. You cannot perform at your best when your health is failing. If you've been up late, this is from the top of the pyramid, the leader, all the way down to the workers. But your performance, you need the rest that it takes to think straight. You need to be able to go over the day's situation so you can get your lines right. Without being clear with what you want, how can you ever expect anyone to understand what you're wanting? Also, anxiety about your meeting or your conversation, your performance, can keep you awake and you'll not be able to be near as effective. Don't go into your performance when you're hungry. The feeling of hunger will draw your attention away from your objective. Remember, you need to focus to perform your task. Again, your performance. Don't enter your performance without preparation. The way your communication goes will be in line with how it was prepared. Always be prepared. Be aware talking behind closed doors is like being backstage. Don't say anything behind closed doors that you're not prepared to explain on the main stage? This is too often presumed as drama, and drama should never show up in a business, especially from the leader. This performance will always come back to you in an extremely negative way. So now, let's give your crew, your employees, compliments to try to uplift and move them. Make them feel they can do the best job. Remember, the point of theater, your business, is to enjoy the performance and reach the level that both you and your employee want to get to. And next, give your audience, your customer, the best experience they will ever have. It's not always about the cost of the ticket. It's about the performance of the crew. The ultimate experience is what you strive for. The ultimate experience is what your customer expects. The ultimate experience is what they will tell other potential customers about. The other thing that will be told about the crappy performance. What kind of review do you want them to write about you? About your performance? Your personal life and your business life are both performances. Performing to your family, the examples you set for your children, because believe me, they will do more of what they see you do than they will ever do of what you tell them to do. The performance you show to your employees, leading by example, and the performance you show to your clients, the ultimate experience. What kind of performance are you going to give? And as my friend and coach, Scott McCain, said in his book, all business is show business. That's enough said by me today. I'm turning this back over to Jerry to wrap up our performance of the day.
As a business owner, you know where you want to take your business, but things keep popping up to block your way. You're not alone. It's hard to see clearly when you're so close to the situation. Where are the roadblocks? What do you need to tackle first? You went out and took a big risk because you've got dreams for your family and your community, and it's time to turn those dreams into reality. CVC Success Group has a proven system to do just that. It's time we talk.
Hey, welcome back with me. I hope what Sheryl just shared with you were some great words for you to consider. Because Sheryl has become a great presenter. She had to face her anxieties of going onto a stage. She went through a lot of training to do that and has become a tremendous speaker, both one-on-one with people and also to a group. Hopefully today we've given you some great ideas. No matter if you need to psych yourself up to do a live video, to do a job interview, to do any type of communication. And maybe we've even allowed you to psych yourself up for those hard conversations where you maintain your composure. Thinking back to what Sage Steele shared with us just an hour ago in the summit that we just completed, but she actually credited her father. As I researched and listened and looked up Sage during her presentation, since it was a virtual presentation, her father was a military officer. He was a colonel. And as a child, she had a very, very well-rounded childhood. A childhood of accountability. Sage even shared where every Saturday morning, her father had room inspection of her and her brothers every Saturday morning. And as she has faced a life now where accountability is so important, she said, this was the way I was raised. So think about that, because if you're a parent, think of the little people that you're influencing every day. Those young people that you brought into this world and you have the charge of developing into the responsible adults of tomorrow. But also remember that each and every communication that you have, it's going to be a performance. It has to be honest. It has to be from the heart. And it has to be said in a way that it presents your point of view in a way that makes people think. And with that, we're going to end today's podcast here on the Chimney and Fireplace Success Network. We're CVC Success Group. My name's Jerry Isenhour. And if we can help you in any way turn your business dreams into your business realities for both your business and your personal life, reach out to us here. We have a team of subject matter experts, and we're ready to help you in any way that we can. Isn't it time that we had a conversation? Appreciate you joining us. As always, it's an honor, it's a pleasure, and it's a privilege to be able to speak to you in this manner.
Thanks for joining us here each week at the Chimney and Fireplace Success Network, sponsored by CVC Success Group, providing you the coaching and educational outreach services you need to move to your dream destination in business and in life.